If you're feeling any harm, if you're feeling suicidal, if you're feeling like you're having any problems, you need to talk to somebody, or you feeling like somebody else that you know is in problem, having a problem or in harm's reach, we have our own access line at 988. Please contact that. If you are having any issues, it's 988. So the second incident was a high school. It was at Suitland. It was Suitland High School. Um, Students was arrested, and this was on the first day of school. So what happened was, police had got a tip that it was a carjacking that happened in District Heights a night before, and like I said, the police had got a tip from somebody that the kids had did it and that they was at school. They were coming to school the first day of school. So it was a 16-year-old, which his name is not identified because he's underage, and then you got an 18-year-old named Christopher Harris. They were caught with two firearms in their possessions, as the police did catch them while they was in school with the firearms on them. The 16-year-old was charged as an adult for carjacking and gun-related charges and possession of a handgun on school grounds. And also, as you know, Christopher is already an adult. He's 18, so he's being charged with possession of a dangerous weapon on school grounds and also gun offenses. That was all the detail that they really had in that one. They didn't go full-fledged on. Besides, the lead was the carjacking, which made them, find them at the school. That's what they were being looked for carjacking.
Also, guys, could y'all go over that first piece? We was muted online, so for the audience.
Oh yeah, man.
Piece again. That first article.
Oh, okay. Sure. About the 7-year-old. Okay. Before we go any forward, we need to run back the first story because y'all might not have heard it. We had a technical difficulty. But as Semaj said, it was an incident in Montgomery County. It was a 7-year-old that was hit by a lady that sped around the school bus stop signs and the flashing lights. The child is in stable condition. She will make a full recovery. All we know as right now, the penalties for the lady, that the driver that hit the child was a $250 fine, and she has 14 citations that has been written for her, which is, I feel light, but from my perspective, she got a break. But we ask that y'all slow down, be careful, man, and really follow and pay attention to the law. You wouldn't want that to be your child, But yeah, sorry about that. But as we move forward, we have one more topic for that happened, and this one is at Ideal Public Charter School. It was 3 students involved. A 15-year-old was charged with shooting 2 of his fellow students. Upon arriving to school, they were refused by the security. The reason of one of the guys wasn't properly dressed. He didn't follow the uniform. He didn't have his uniform, so the security guard sent them away. And then the other 2, which includes the shooter and the other guy that got shot, they were refused because they didn't want to go through the metal detector. So that was a red flag. But like I said, they never made it into the school. The security guard, thank you, which was good, did their job and was paying attention to what they were supposed to do and paying attention to the dress code and paying attention that not letting them sneak by the metal detector or anything of that nature. So we commend the security guard for that. But as these kids are leaving, my question is, if they got refused to come into the school while their parents wasn't called to let them know, or if were their parents called, is in question. Of course, they had problems with each other, and then they all left together. So it was a lot of questioning in there. But Um, the 15-year-old shot both of the students right there in stable condition as of right now, and that's all the detail we really have for that case right now.
Right? I know monkeypox is still an issue.
Yes, sir.
COVID is still an issue and it's rising. So be mindful of your personal hygiene and taking care of your cleanliness, and wear your mask, and if you have to, if it's ordained, and social distance. Just be mindful. Keep your immunity system high. Continue to take your herbs and eat correctly. Work out. But yeah, I didn't. I don't. I mean, just piggybacking or going into that last story. Um, I don't agree with the. I don't agree with none of it. I don't agree
Right.
with the security guard. I don't agree with, um, their policy. If somebody don't have a shirt or a uniform, give them one. You know, isn't the objective to have kids in school so y'all don't make enough money or have enough money in your budget to have a uniform on? To the side, in any size, you make sure that the kid gets the education. That's a primary result of me seeing that y'all don't care if they get an education or not. A kid, he controls wearing his uniform. And you can't really put it on the parents all the time because he could walk out of school, walk out the house with the uniform on. Same thing for a young lady. They could walk out the house with the uniform on and then change it wherever they want, knowing that, okay, they're not going to let me in school if I'm not dressed. So that's an easy way to not have to go to school. So after all these years and school's been around this long, as an official, as an adult, you can't say, man, nope, that one is not going to work for us this week, or today. You done pulled that enough. We're going to go ahead and give you a uniform. So thank you, boom. And then when two people don't want to come through a metal detector, I'm calling the police. There should be police on campus anyway. I believe that it shouldn't be these, because they're taking, every year from here on out, they're taking like 20 of these guidance, these security guidance counselors, the security guards out of the schools. And I believe that it should just be police. I believe, especially in this area, the DMV has the most law enforcement, and I feel like there should be a law enforcement, force for what we've been talking about, Pop Warner games and youth, just anything that deal with youth, and then schools, you know what I mean, like, or, big gatherings that have to do with families, churches, if families and children are there, this task force should be assigned to it. But if you're not coming in because you don't want to walk through the metal detectors, that's a clear sign to me for people who are of age to, man, officer such and such on the radio, yo, I got two out here that don't want to come through the metal detector. I'm not saying that they have something or not, but the school has it in their rules that if you're a student that goes here, that you must be searched if you don't want to come through the metal detector. You don't want to be touched, then go through the metal detector.
Right.
This way you have probable cause because you're breaking the school's rules, you know what I mean? Also goes back to even more like what I said last week when they were talking about the COVID. If you don't have your shot, you can't go to school. It's the same thing. If we were homeschooling, we wouldn't even have this much beef. That kid wouldn't even have to interact with this kid, and this kid wouldn't have to interact with that kid. And I know it's something super simple to say, but we should have been working on this for the last 30, 40, 50 years, acquiring land as a family. You know what I mean? That way we know where people are going to be able to stay and where they can be housed. But if we don't have enough, space for our people, and we're not creating our own system, our ecosystem, then people are not learning what we need to learn. We're just going into these systems depending on a system that's not for us no way. So it's really hard. But that's really hard to do. So in my mind, I would just think, focus on doing things as a family, focus on generational wealth, focus on group economics, focus on getting off of being dependent so much on the system that wasn't created for us. But
Okay. So
it's really
one thing, second, bro. So one lady in the comments, Miss Charles, said they tried to give them a uniform, but they refused it.
oh, then even more. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
So
saying.
yeah.
So even more. So kudos to the school for that's what
Thank
I'm
you,
saying
Miss
for
Charles.
being forward thinking, and that's what we should be doing. But that's again, then that's when the task force comes out because this is probable cause. You're refusing to go to school, so you need to go to jail or to a detention center
Right.
for the day. Then that'll make you say, man, I don't feel like doing that. Let me just go in here because back in the day, that's what they used to do. You would get picked up if you didn't go to school because your parents would be at work, so you don't have nobody to be your guardian. And Lord knows I dislike throwing people in the system, but this is idiotic behavior. This is immature behavior. This is children abusing their power because you know they can't do nothing to you, so you're just doing it. But karma works in all ways, man. And what's destined is destined, so it really sucks. But look at what happened just because you wouldn't take the uniform and just go into school, man. It's the safest place for you to be at the moment. But like I said, man, families, there should start being some serious conversations on the return of investment on all the stuff that we're dependent on. Then, if you're saying that homeschooling is wrong, I'm saying what's the return on the investment for us depending on these schools? Obviously, it's not safe enough. Obviously, they're not learning enough. Obviously, it's not funded enough. So I'm saying if you have the pushback on what I'm saying with homeschool, then I'm asking, this is my real honest question. What's the return on investment for copper-colored people in this country, this continent, this place called North America? What's the return on investment for depending on a system that wasn't created for us? If we all have all these issues, but we still depend on it. So to me, I feel like it has to be somewhere where we put the flag down and say, look, from this point forward, we're going to do it. And it might, take 5 people. And then that 5 people turns into 10. And then it's 1 generation, then it's 2 generations. I'm not saying everybody. I don't, particularly care for the kumbaya, and just be sitting around waiting for a majority. I'm just saying somebody in your family has to talk to somebody else who has to talk to somebody else. So it's not just you. And then it has to be able to trickle down to the people who care. Those who don't care, keep putting your children in the hands of other people. But you can't complain when the result and the return on an investment is not something of quality. It's really not. It's a lot of quantitative, low frequency that come from us depending on the food, us that depend on the music. The music that they let us listen to, it's the worst one. But the good music is hidden. You know what I mean? You can't see it on the playlist. You can't, you know what I mean? The good food, we bypass it. We walk right past the produce section and go all on the shelves. And there's nothing on the shelves but garbage. You know what I mean? The programs, we were just looking at something. They were talking about how baseball is outpriced right now in Little League. That's why we play so much football and basketball, because baseball and the equipment and the travel and all that, they saying that it's outpriced. To me, that's when you have to make a serious adjustment in your household. Put the focus on the children's future because they here and only your future, or say forget it and just let them play other stuff. Or the other thing is don't have children at all till you're ready and you can afford it. Because for people to say that it's outpriced for us, but we have the highest spending, to me, again, these are the things that throw me for a mental loop. It confuses me mentally because on one hand, we saying we spend the most, okay, then on the other hand, they saying they price things for us to give us the privilege to play these sports and become, something other than just, a basketball player or football player. But me, it's like, for me being my own critic and, having to change my own life, I've been there, where it was, impulse spending and it was bad habits and I was lacking discipline. So instead of pointing the finger at everybody and saying, oh, y'all making bad decisions, I started just trying to make better decisions, and it's working for me. I don't know what it's going to do for you, but is the return on the investment worth it? You know what I mean? Is it worth drinking alcohol and not being able to use that money, to put your child into something? It don't necessarily have to be baseball, but at least you're going to get a quality return on that dollar, opposed to if you just get drunk. Well, you did a bunch of things. You put demons in your body. You made yourself dehydrated. We could just go down the list of whereas if you put it into this child, at least you're building, a bond with your child. You're allowing them to get around other children and other people so they can learn how to communicate. You're giving them love because you'll be cheering. They'll see that you're, giving them some type of positive reinforcement to what all the stuff that they're going on. So it builds a bond with the parents. It also allows your kid to travel, man. Like a lot of people don't, so-called, we claim, again, we don't have the money to travel and go to these places. Well, that's where programs, sports, debate teams, foreign languages, it teaches you other cultures, but they travel a little bit, even with taekwondo and mixed martial arts, they travel. Mm-hmm. So you could, at least your child will get that experience. But hey, maybe instead of, making it always a Tulum or a Jamaica girls trip, take your kid, find out the popping tournaments, you know what I'm saying, and where they at, and okay, build a vacation around that, you know what I'm saying, because now y'all traveling, but the focus is the kid. It's not all the extra stuff that can happen, from being at a day party and everybody's drinking, or it's this, that, and the third. You keeping a great bond with your child. You're learning something, they learning something. You also traveling, but it's a safe environment. You're going to bed earlier, right? Because you're not staying out to 4 or 5 in the morning, because it ain't from the club to the strip club to brunch or Waffle House. We did everything we were supposed to do for my kid. I took him to dinner. We might have went and got some ice cream, bowling.
Wake up the next morning, be energized for your kid, because you half the parents ain't got energy for their kids.
Yeah,
they for themselves, for the kids, for I wonder, like, my couple of questions was like, how when we used to go back into school, we had the DARE officers, we had so much security, it was unbelievable. You couldn't barely do nothing.
We had a cop at school.
That too. That was the DARE officer
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't have that no more. Like, I never seen it in this area.
Right. That would be something that we have to look up.
Right.
Like how many police are actually in school these days, so we could see, because that's all I know is police have radios.
Right.
And I also know that police are here to keep the peace.
Right.
So as tax-paying citizens, children, utilize them for what they're here for. You know what I'm saying? And those are better. I feel like when you're dealing with these youthful situations, it's a learning experience for adults, the police, to learn how to deal with the adults. Like, when you out there with adults, this is like some trial and error for you. Dress rehearsal. Like, you're dealing with 2 kids. They're not grown. They still carry the, like, they still do the same thing that the parents would do, because the parent hasn't healed yet. So this is a prime example of a parent last week on a football field getting upset, pulling a gun out. Boom, some words exchanged. I can guarantee you it's the same thing that was happening with the kids. I guarantee you it was Instagram.
The first thing they resorted to was violence.
Yeah, it come from back and forth. Like, you said something about me, or you posted it.
Because that's what happened with the high school.
It was subliminal, and then boom, he pulled a gun. So as an officer, it's like, no, man, y'all need it. First and foremost, these kids are screaming out for love.
That's it.
So take it up. Everybody take it an extra mile. If you're not going to take the uniform, then guess what? It might take a little bit of embarrassing of yourself and him. You know what I mean? No, I'm going to stand right next to you then. A woman, though. Send a woman, because you go back and forth with the ego. You edging God out. You know what I mean? And then you coming in with all your pride, and pride comes before the fall.
Right.
So these are 2 things that you have that are negative. You got pride and you got ego. Destruction. Send that woman over there. No. And guess what I'm going to do? Give me your phone. I'm going to call your mom from your number, so I know she's going to pick up. Boom. Or guardian, whoever, because it's on the paper. You have to, hello? I'm out here with him. I'm on 23rd Street. I'm standing at the corner. I'm taking off. I'll take a leave of absence today. I'm going to stand right here with you the whole day then. That, like, just do, you never know what these, different, these astonishing, these awkward, these going in, these brave moments, they come from nowhere. They're not scripted. Just do it. You don't know what's going to happen. 10 years come from now. 5 years come from now. Man, I remember Miss such and such. She just wouldn't let me do. I have an experience for myself. I tried to drop AP courses because I knew I was going to college. The teacher wouldn't let Miss Miller. She called Mommy. They had a conference. Mommy. She just agreed with her, because this lady, this another person who cared for your kid just as much as you, and we met as strangers. So you have to listen to her. Mommy had to agree with her, because that's a stranger caring for your kid. So he's staying. And what can I say? I can't go against my mom. And then, looking back on it now, I needed that, because that's what life is. Every time you start something new, it's a new challenge. I don't care how masterful and skillful and knowledgeable you are in making bottles, right? You bet you can't make a phone. Yeah. So when you get into the phone industry, you're a baby. Yeah. You know what I mean? You make paper. You're super great at carving wood and shredding it down. I bet you can't make a microphone cover.
Yeah.
So you're a baby. Every time we start back off, it's like no matter how old we are, we go back to kids.
Right.
We always go back to being a kid. So it's nothing but practice when you're dealing with children. You reintroducing yourself. You know what I mean? As a child, but in an adult body, more mature. It's practice for where you messed up back in the day when you was immature. Maybe it could have been a week ago, could have been 3 months ago. Man, let me just try it with Dante today. Yeah. Hey, man, lead with a story about when your dad did something foul, when your father wasn't there, because you know what they're going through. Ask. These teachers talk. If it's funny, you know what I'm saying, when it's a funny story, so when you inquire about it with care and love, then it's different now. Hey, can I sit down and talk to you? Remember you said Dante don't really eat at night? Mm-hmm. Remember you said he taking care of his 3-year-old sister? Remember he said, and then I gotta have a pistol. I'm scared. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. I'm scared, bro, because he might shoot me later. Mm-hmm. So I'm living in fear. So I gotta have it. I gotta feel like I have some type of boost of confidence with me. I'm on guard. Mm-hmm. So whether you got something to say, or he got something to say, or she got something to say, I feel like don't nobody care about me. Mm-hmm. Screw this world. We as adults have to know that, man. You know, kudos to the idea for, you know, at least trying. But if somebody sees this from there, we have to go a little bit further.
Yes, sir.
Forget the step by step process of what they telling you should do, because according to the paperwork you did it right, but according to the law, a lot of us are in jail for nothing. So it ain't, there's lawful and then there's being right. You know what I mean?
Sir. So we asking, like, from this point, like, it's been a lot of shootings at games. It's been a lot of arguments at games. It's been a lot of drama at these games, and y'all taking the fun away from the kids. I help out every day. I see it every day. What's wrong with asking somebody else, are you all right? How you doing? It's not being taught no more. So as we come into a close, y'all, we ask that y'all start loving these kids, man, and start doing the work. We need the community. We need heavy hitters in this community, man, that really got influence in a good way to start taking action. We need to come together, man, because it's happening by the second, by the minute, man. Every single day is something else.
And me, I'm gonna keep advocating for it and keep pushing for it. But we need people to really start caring about themselves. Yes, a lot of these actions are because you don't care. You just don't care, and you don't think nobody care about you. But once you start caring about yourself, it allows you to care for others in a way that it's not harming you or draining you, or it's not temporary. It starts to last, you know what I'm saying? Because you really go in deep in the crevices of yourself. Okay, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to give nothing to these children, to another human being, until you start giving it to yourself. That's when the world, that's when the universe, that's when the higher power, that's when it believes that you're serious. You know, you ever see somebody that pray every day but then go do the whole opposite and then wonder why it's not working? That's why. You know what I'm saying? We don't need anybody to do nothing but to start focusing on you. That's going to make you care for the kid. That's going to make you want to go a little bit further, because you're going to want what's done to these people, no matter the age, no matter the color, no matter the nothing. You're going to want the same thing done to you. That's why they say do unto others as you do unto yourself. Racism it won't even matter, because you can't break me and you're not in my bubble. Whenever we cross paths, I just got to keep it cool enough so this don't be in my, man, this can't control my world. I don't even know you. I don't know you. So yes, how you doing? Okay, cool. I had my first experience with a Karen today. Man, I can't wait to talk about that. But I had a Karen today, and I had all women, ethnicities, from our people to a couple of Latinos come up. They all came up there and thanked me. I got free bread today, free popcorn today. Handled it with grace. Put that lady right in her place respectfully. Never raised my voice not one time, because I'm beyond that now. Respectfully. You're just not going to disrespect me. You're just not going to assume and just put these stereotypes on me. And let me teach you. I had to teach her. She started crying and all that. And no, I did not apologize, because I told her I will only apologize from this point on in my life for things that I know I've done wrong. I handled this problem. All I had told that lady the whole time was, have a nice day. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Because you're not going to break the blessing that I received just for waking up. I'm there with it. Just for waking up, I got a blessing. Nobody gets this power. Nobody. So, yes, man. With the closing, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell,
Pound replay.
Yes. 988. If you have any mental health issues, feeling alone, anything, leadersonly22@gmail. That's the email. Leaders Only Show.
Kendall's Touches at
Touch of Kendall.
Touches Kendall's.
El Capitan Ambassador, Tone Drone TV, What a Change.
Ooh, we got so much.
El Capitan Cartel. Make sure y'all get a copy of the book, man. Thank you, guys. Peace.